everybody, and welcome to Malt Music Whiskey Reviews. I'm Eric. On the bar for today, we got ourselves a Sherry Bomb Face-Off. Two cask strength whiskeys, Glengoyne's Cask Strength versus the Aberlour A'bunadh. As always, here on the channel, nose, taste, finish review of these whiskeys is coming your way. I'll tell you a bit about their value, give you final thoughts, final score, tell you which one I think is the best and the best bang for your buck. I'll leave you with the malt musing as always. But first, if you've yet to take a second, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you don't miss these reviews. They are dropping every Friday here on YouTube. I also have a happy hour Tuesdays, 8 p.m. Eastern time. I'd love to see you in the chat. Okay, so we are looking at two really fully sherried cask strength single malt Scotch whiskeys here. So first of all, let me give you the tail of the tape on the Glengoyne cask strength. The one we're looking at particular today is batch 6. This one is bottled at 59.8% ABV. It is non-chill filtered and natural color. A little more research digging in on this found that it's a mix of first fill and refill sherry casks. Moving over to the Aberlour A'bunadh. This one is batch 60. It is also non-chill filtered natural color at 60.3%, so about 0.5% higher ABV. This is also basically just sherry butts. I was not able to find out if it's first fill or second fill or refill otherwise, so maybe it's just a mix of them. So Glengoyne comes out of the Highland region. It's actually literally almost on the border between the Highland region and the Lowland region. Aberlour comes out of the Speyside region. So if the region's flavor profiles are something that you are a big believer in, there may be some subtle difference there. But what we're really looking at here are two non-age statement cask strength sherry whiskeys. Since they are both a natural color, let's take a look at the colors of these. So this one here, Glengoyne cask strength, and this is the Aberlour. So you can kind of see the Aberlour a little bit brighter red. This one's got a little bit more of a, I want to say a little less on the reddish hue, maybe more of a kind of amber color. Okay, first things first, let's start with the Glengoyne cask strength. A nice nose, as you would expect. It's a ton of sherry. But this also has a nice kind of backbone of spice, some oak character to this. This is not maybe as much of the full-on sherry in-your-face nose that you would expect, which is usually Oloroso in these cases. You're getting that kind of dried fruit and kind of darker stone fruit notes. This one definitely on the drier side, and again, getting complemented with some backbone of cinnamon, some spice, bit of alcohol, leaving a little bit of a prickle. There's some vanilla, some toffee, some caramel in here. Quite nice. Okay, moving over to the Aberlour A'bunadh. A'bunadh, by the way, means origin. Okay, much more jammy, sweeter, brighter red fruits, not as much spice, chocolate, like milk chocolate, vanilla, a lot of that coming through here. There's even maybe some hints of orange, caramel, a much brighter, sweeter, I think, fruit note on the nose here, which almost makes me, smells a little bit like it's not quite as aged, but again, we don't really know since these are both non-age statement. I almost want to say pecan pie too. Wow. Okay, let's go in for the taste first. We're going to start with the Glengoyne cask strength. Neat, here we go. Wow. Really great mouthfeel on this. Oily, viscous, coats the mouth. It's oak. There's more oak. There's definitely sherry. There's sweeter sherry on this now. So a little bit more of the red fruit, the hints of cherry, light berries, things like that. Backbone is still spicy with Now, I shouldn't say spicy, but it's got some cinnamon going on here for sure. Kind of nutmeg, Christmas baking spices kind of thing. A nice caramely mouthfeel going into the finish, which hits with more oak, vanilla, sherry, kind of all married together really nicely here. A bit hot with the alcohol bite, but all in all, quite impressive, sticky. Dig it. Okay. Neat taste of the Aberlour. Interesting. While the nose was much more kind of sweet, bright fruit forward, the palate here is definitely bringing a bit more dryness and oakiness. It's tamed down that sweetness a bit. Orange, hot cocoa, chocolate. Not quite as much of an alcohol bite. Smoother transition a bit into the finish here. Again, chocolatey, vanilla, caramel, jammy, a little bit, not quite as much of that jam characteristic as we got in the Glengoyne, but honestly, pretty nice alcohol note kicking in a bit here, although not quite as much as we got on the Glengoyne. But both of them are definitely within reason for cask strength whiskey. Okay, we're going to do these in reverse order now. We're going to do about 5 small drops of water, so maybe 1 to 1.5, 2 teaspoons on each. We're going to start with the Aberlour. A couple drops of water on this. Let's see what else we get out of this dram. Much more dry fruit on the nose. That sweetness is taking a step back, but it is still there, that cakey characteristic, kind of pecan pie thing that I was mentioning. Definitely there. Still actually a little bit more alcohol prickling on the nose here. Again, this is 60.3% ABV. You can't expect not to get any of that in most cases. Dry fruits, sweet, bright fruits. A little bit of cherry, cotton candy even. Here we go. Arrives nice and balanced. Fruity, bit more oak characteristic on the back end. Dark chocolate is there. A bit more harmonious, less alcohol bite. I think this is better on the palate with water. Extending that development, getting a little bit of mint even in this now, and almost what tastes close to like a rye spice. But don't make no mistake, this is sherry in your face. Sweet and dry fruit notes, which is quite impressive, given that this is a non-age statement whiskey. Okay. We're going to do the same thing to the Glengoyne cask strength here. Do about 4 or 5 drops. We'll do 5 drops again. Again, the Glengoyne cask strength 59.8%, so just about 0.5% less ABV, so pretty negligible. Palate is as clean as it's going to get. Here we go. Oh man. So, the water has taken that alcohol bite a bit, dissipated it on the nose here, which is nice. It's allowing much more of these kind of dark, ripe, almost overripe fruits to show up, getting some dark plum notes, even close to raisin. That oakiness in the background. Oh man. It's still sweet, still sherry forward. Maybe little hints of vanilla here and there. Quite nice. Here we go. Again, drier sherry notes. A little bit less of a development before it goes into the finish, but boy, this is really delicious. Water has taken that bit of that alcohol bite down. The spice is still there. Like you're getting that, it's almost like cinnamon red hot, oak, slightly tannic. the sherry fruit notes are much more on the drier fruit side than the bright sweet fruit side. Still a little bit punchy. Got a nice kind of creaminess coming in the background, some effervescence, almost like a cola note, like a one of those like strawberry Cokes or something like that. Long finish, dark chocolate showing up here big time. Okay, let's talk about value. So first things first, here in 2022, the Glengoyne cask strength, this is a bottle you can find in the US right around that $65 to $70 mark. Whereas the Aberlour A'bunadh, closer to 100. Sometimes you'll find it, maybe hovering around 90, 95, but sometimes you'll see this over 100, maybe in that 110 range. So average around 100 with this, average around 65, 70 with this. So about a $30 difference here. I'm going to go with medium high value on the Glengoyne cask strength, and I'm also going to go with medium high value on the A'bunadh. We'll talk about the reason for that in final thoughts, which we'll get into right now. Okay, so first things first here, let's talk final thoughts. These are two distilleries that I am usually not a huge fan of. I find some of their whiskeys, in the case of Glengoyne and both Aberlour, some of the regular core range stuff, it's a bit too thin on the mouthfeel for me. It's bottled at lower ABV than I think it should be to really showcase what the whiskey can do. But they do have some good ones in their lineup. I think with Aberlour, this A'bunadh is clearly the best thing in their core range. With Glengoyne, this cask strength is great. They also have a really good 15 and 12-year-old, I think, are really good ones. But talking about these whiskeys specifically, these both really provide a richer, more full-bodied experience, showcasing the malts that these distilleries are capable of making, and I commend them for that. As for the value, I mean, while I gave them both the same value scores, I do think this Glengoyne is a really great, more budget-friendly whiskey. If you were looking for a nice, heavy sherry bomb that doesn't really, break the bank, they're on that $70 price point, man, this is hard to beat. The Aberlour A'bunadh creeping up a little bit higher, but still, it is just one of the gold standards when it comes to the sherry, the cask strength sherry whiskeys. It's got the brightness and the sweetness that you expect from a younger, vibrant, fruity sherry whiskey. And because of that, I have to give this one probably the winning mark here. I think the Aberlour A'bunadh, despite being a little bit more expensive, is going to be sitting at that 4 out of 5 for me. If you're doing a 100-point scale, this is probably an 89 out of 100. But the Glengoyne cask strength, not far behind it. This whiskey, I would probably give a 3.75 out of 5, which means I definitely recommend you try this and grab it at a good price, which you should be able to find. On the 100-point scale, you're looking at right probably that 87 mark. So slight nod to the Aberlour A'bunadh, but this Glengoyne cask strength is not a slouch by any stretch. Keep an eye out for both of these and choose the one that's best for your wallet for sure. If you enjoy a nice heavy cask strength punchy whiskey, boy, these are two of the better ones that you're going to find out there. So final scores again, Aberlour A'bunadh is our winner at 4 out of 5 stars for that, 3.75 out of 5. Glengoyne cask strength. So one final thing I do want to mention is that these are batches. As I told you in the beginning, this one in particular was batch 6 of the Glengoyne, the Aberlour A'bunadh batch 60. So results may vary. Keep that in mind when you're out shopping. Hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the chat below. Have you had either of these? Do you agree with me, disagree? We'll look to do a couple more of these types of face-offs as we continue here on the Malt Muser channel. And with that, I will send you on over to your malt musing while I enjoy the rest of these 2 trips. Sláinte mhath. See you next time.